All right. It's not even 3:30 Pacific time, but I'm up, so it's time for Satisfactory. All right. I got a lot of work done offline, which I will describe later. Right now we're back at the hub, and I think I'm gonna start by catching up on some of these kind of old, low-tier milestones. So the actual objective this morning is to get the last space elevator shipment done, but I think we can do some warm-up before we do that. I hadn't realized that this just requires 100 coal, so let's just see if I have 100 coal just kind of sitting around somewhere. I don't, oh, yep, there it is. Okay, let's just do this. Good morning, Masters off. Let's look at the new recipes that we have here. Say what? Good morning, Onaiwe. Why am I up? Yeah, same. I'm not supposed to be up for another hour, but I'm up and I'm not getting back to sleep, so I'm not sure where the recipe for that I just unlocked, where they are. It seems like they should be somewhere. Minerals, no. Well, maybe we, hold on, I want to see if I can figure out what I just did. This is a little weird. I think at least some of the recipes require like coal and sulfur. So if I can, I'm gonna build an assembler and see if it like will tell me. Okay. So compacted coal, which is like more energy dense than normal coal, but that's anyway. Well, there's people in the zoo now, so I can get on with my usual business. What I'm actually here to do is that some time ago I built these things that are like one manufacturer each making heavy modular frame computers. And so now we actually have, we've been building them, and like off stream I've been carrying them over to the space elevator manually because, so let's just grab 100 of each of these and walk over here, and I will explain why I titled the stream End of the Beginning. Okay, so here's the space elevator. And the space elevator has shipping requirements that I don't pay attention to very much because it usually takes a long time. But I've been just manually carrying over all these things, heavy modular frame, computer, and motor. Even though like the production of those things has not been very high throughput, but I've been wandering around doing a lot of other work in the meantime, and so, you know, if given enough time, a bad production line can do it. And this will unlock tier 7 and 8. So let's just do this. So it's taken probably like 15 hours or something to manufacture enough stuff for this, starting from the time when I actually had enough motors. So this is, so the space elevator send that stuff into space. There was even like a little pop-up thing that said incoming message, but because this is like still in early access, etc., there isn't actually an incoming message. It's not, like, the content's not finished. But this is the end of the beginning because that was the last shipment order for the space elevator. So there will be others later, but that's unfinished content. So, but because we did that, we get to look at what we get for sending the last shipment of the space elevator. Whoa. Raiding party this early in the morning, huh? Well, enjoy Satisfactory. Okay, so tier 8 exists nominally, but there's nothing for it yet. Thank you, Holiday Picker. Anyway. However, we now have tier 7. Tier 7 has nuclear power, which, if you didn't already have it, enables the scanner to detect Caterium. Also enables you to scan for uranium and a bunch of stuff related to uranium handling and nuclear power. But this is interesting. In addition, it also enables the Bayer process, which enables you to scan for quartz if you don't already have that. Also lets you scan for bauxite. Well, this thing enables so much stuff it overflows the display. That's cute. But anyway, so with scanning for bauxite, you can mine for aluminum. This also unlocks Mark III miner and a Mark V conveyor belt, which I sort of assume is the highest level at least that's available now. I suppose maybe there might be stuff under tier 8, but I'm skeptical. Anyways, it also enables turbo motor, which is like more motor. Batteries, I don't know. So, but there's a bunch of stuff here. The question is which one I want first. I think I probably want the Bayer process first, because I'm guessing I want to eventually build a nuclear power plant, but I'm guessing that's far in the future. My priority is to get the main factory built first, and so I think I'm interested in getting the Mark III miner and the Mark V conveyor belts first. So I think I have enough of this stuff just sitting around to do it. So I'm gonna have to manually carry this stuff over, but it's the hub, that's always true. Okay. Oh no, I don't actually have enough heavy modular frames. I think I might have a few sitting over here, but yeah, 5, that's not gonna cut it. Well, I'll carry 100 heavy modular frames for now, and then we can return to the Bayer process later. I definitely have enough motors. I think it was 400 motors. We'll find out. Alright. get this stuff back to the hub, and then okay. So how far off are we? Yeah, thanks for stopping by, Howdy Pickard, and good luck with your own factory. So we have about 170 heavy modular frames. And they're being made at roughly 2 per minute, so it's gonna be like about an hour and a half. But we have plenty to do in the meantime. So offline, let's just look at a map first. So over the weekend, we started building the Blumenwerk location, which will be the location of our primary, like, actual scalable factory. And offline, the main thing I did was I built a causeway over there. So let's head over there. I don't know if there's anything I need to be carrying, if I want to be carrying over there. Maybe steel parts? I don't know. It's hard to say. Let's just get going. And since I have a causeway built now, like, getting back and forth is not nearly as high of a time cost as it used to be. So I used to have to, like, go climb the launch tower, but now I have a fairly complete causeway with it's carrying power and conveyor belts both ways. So this will probably lag the game because I travel so fast on this conveyor belt that, like, it has to load a bunch of stuff. And yep, here we go. So it's starting to load the trees in. You'll see a bunch of them just pop in, and also the game will lag a bit. But this also emphasizes how tall these trees are, because I'm way over the terrain they're standing on. But I'm gonna want to parachute once I get to the end here. Unless you can hear the footstep sounds, because I guess anyway. That's kind of goofy. Alright, let's... Okay, so I also, did some work remodeling the Blumenwerk facility. Oop. Slowing ourselves down here. So let's head over this way, and I will explain what I've been doing. This is fairly time consuming. I've kind of decided that, like, if I want to get done with Satisfactory in a reasonable time, I kind of have to do stuff offline, because, like, building large works like this takes a long time. Okay, let's just climb this observatory tower, and I will talk about what I have done. So, the last thing I did online, like on stream, was, again, I have the 12, yes, this is definitely a bespoke object here. So I have 12 pillars that are central and are in a fairly regular dodecagon, and I had built out the major petals, but later I decided that I actually wanted the central pillars to be taller for a couple reasons. One reason is that there's toxic gas over there. Also, I realized I messed up. I will demonstrate how I messed up, and I've fixed it since then. But my desire was for there to be a main pedal heading straight north, and somehow on stream I messed that up. Like, I had a main pedal heading off of this pillar and that pillar, and then this one, which is the due north pedal, was not a major pedal. It was like, anyway, I had skipped it. So I messed that part up. Second of all, there's toxic gas zone over there, and also one in this direction over here. And I wasn't high enough to avoid either of them. Whereas now, over here, I kind of left it, let's see, yeah, over here. Skelecat Gaming says, hi, do you have mods installed? I do not. This is approximately my first time playing Satisfactory, and for any game I prefer to have the most natural experience first, and later I might explore mods, or I might not. But I prefer to have, especially for an unfinished game, I want to know what kind of game the creators want it to be first before I start playing around with mods. Anyway, I'm definitely over this toxic gas area, and I'm high enough up now that I'm not in any danger from the toxic gas, at least over here. So the central pillars are now higher up. I've realigned the pedals, and I've also installed these conveyor belts to provide transportation across the factory. So for just transporting normal items, like you can have the conveyor belts intersect and it doesn't cause any problems. If you are riding on the conveyor belt, when you hit intersecting conveyor belts, it doesn't always, but can shove you off the conveyor belt. So that's why I have this weird over-under like weave thing happening. And in addition, I will demonstrate a problem that I encountered while doing this, which is that if I was riding the under one, when I got to this upward ramp, it would like launch me off the conveyor belt, and I would like fly off and then fly that way and almost universally die. So I installed a backstop, which is this splitter. So this splitter here is only serving the purpose of stopping you when you fly off of this conveyor belt, because you only take fall damage from falling due to gravity. You don't take any fall damage or other sort of kinetic damage by crashing into things at high speeds. So that is a safety device. And then there's another one going the other direction. Because if I didn't have this, if I was careful on the inputs, you could like, here, I will demonstrate in a somewhat more controlled manner. If you are riding a conveyor belt and get to the end and just like sidestep off, your forward velocity drops off pretty fast, and that's fine. That's why I have not installed a backstop here, for example. But something about the going up an upward ramp, like it's supposed to stick you to the conveyor belt most of the time, but I'm not going to demonstrate it because I die. But in any case, it's less safe, so that's hence the backstops. This pedal in particular will eventually run into the ground over there and also the toxic gas, and I didn't want to build it so high as to avoid those, then it would be up very, very high. Also, this minor pedal just like runs straight into the ground over here. So this minor pedal won't be good for much, but I don't really care. But in any case, since this pedal specifically is going to be the first major pedal to run into like the ground, it won't be able to extend out super far. So eventually in the long term, my goal is to move the hub over here, and I'll probably place it on this pedal specifically because the hub does not need an extreme amount of space. Okay. So that's most of what I did offline. So the other thing I did was I built the start of a concrete production facility because building all this stuff takes a lot of concrete, and it would be nice to be able to build it locally. So since the causeway brought power over, I can start actually building stuff. So this is just a concrete production facility. It doesn't have outputs or inputs hooked up yet, and that's what I want to do now. So before I do that, there's one other sort of design philosophy thing. So again, the theory, I'm going to go get up on the observation tower to sort of explain this visually. So the theory is to have a scalable factory. So any given production line that's on a pedal, the pedal can be extended not infinitely, but pretty dang far. So anything that needs to be, I need to make more of, I should be able to, provided that the conveyor belts cooperate, I can just build more structures off away from the central structure. What that means is the general flow of materials will be from the center, like inputs starting from the center and go out, and then outputs that get made out in the extremities move back towards the center. So that's the basic model. I don't know, when I'm talking about what that means is that for any given pedal, there needs to be a lot of space at the most central area of the pedal, because that'll be where the logistics of moving stuff around happens. And then the repetitive parts will happen more distally from the center. So what that means is, in practice, is that you have to leave a lot of space. Since I haven't been playing this game enough, I don't know what all I need to have here for storage, and also just for conveyor belts going to other parts of the factory. Because concrete is a relatively simple thing. It has one input and one output. I use a lot of concrete as is just to build foundations. So it is the only ingredient for foundations and for a lot of other things. But you do also use concrete for other stuff, like you use it to make reinforced or industrial, what am I saying? Encased industrial beams also use concrete. So eventually I'm going to need to have concrete going to some other part of the factory to make steel products. So that's something that, I have to expect will happen sometime. But in the meantime, so I don't, so I want to have this probably, so this is just a merger, but we're probably going to have it go into the most basic things. I want to have it go into a splitter. The splitter would go into a storage container, and then the splitter will also eventually enable concrete to go into some other part of the factory, which I don't know where that is yet. So we will actually start building stuff with a splitter. Let's say here. And then let's just put a storage container over here. And eventually I might decide that this is not where I want this stuff and I need to move it around, but that can happen later. Yeah, that's fine. And then the other basic design thing that I wanted to make fairly explicit is that, for example, the concrete recipe is 45 limestone to 15 concrete. So recipes can basically fall into three categories. One is equal inputs to outputs, like iron rods. A constructor makes iron rods, 15 iron ingots into 15 iron rods per minute, so that's parity. The other thing you can have is like concrete here, which is more inputs per output per minute. This is at a ratio of like 3:1. You can also have the opposite, which is like more outputs than inputs. Like when you make screws, it takes like 15 iron rods per minute and makes 90 screws per minute. So in this case, because there's more inputs than outputs, I have 2 rows of constructors, and they both rows stick their outputs into the same merger stream here. So because I'm going to have, in terms of a rate, fewer outputs than inputs going in. And so the input streams will be parallel on either side because you need more inputs than you're generating outputs. In the case of screws, I'll actually do it the opposite because you have more outputs than inputs. So the center stream will be an input stream, and then output streams will be on each side. At least that's the plan when I get to that. But first, we have to actually hook up inputs to this stuff. So that means we're going to build several miners. This is why I want the Bayer process researched as soon as possible, because I want to be able to build Mark III miners as soon as possible, but Mark II miners will be just fine for limestone. So let's consider our inventory. So a Mark II miner, I think I know of like 4 different limestone deposits. So if we want to build 4 Mark II miners, it's going to take 8 portable miners. Also some cable. Do I have? So I'm going to need to be able to manually craft stuff. So let's pick a location to make crafting tables, and I think over here where the hub will be at some point in the future is a good place to make crafting tables. I also make this storage container just to hold like bullshit, like stuff I pick up while I'm outside walking around is being stored here. Okay, so let's throw down a craft bench and an equipment workshop. Okay. So I need 8 of these. I can only make... I'm really short on cable. Let's go pick up some more copper products. Actually, let's first see if I can just make enough cable out of the copper wire I have on hand. This under... There it is. Okay. Let's make about like 70 cable. So I nominally need 60 cable just for the portable, miners. So I need some extra cable to make the portable miners. Let's go with that. This requires 4. Okay. So portable miners take up a ton of space in your inventory because each one takes up 1. So you have to like think about whether this is actually what you want, or you could manufacture them on site. But... Okay. All right. So now we have enough stuff. I might run out of other cables and stuff, like trying to bring power over to the miners that I'm going to eventually build. So let's go see if I can go pick up some more copper wire. One problem I have not solved right now is that there's no good way to dismount from the factory other than parachuting down. So that's something I need to think about, whether I want to do something different. But over here, I think there might be some copper products. So one of the things I did was I have 2-way conveyor belts going over the causeway, and there are containers at both ends for shipping stuff from the original hub area into these shipping containers or storage containers. Okay, so I do actually have additional copper products. That's good. Okay, so Let's do a limestone scan. I think the furthest one here is actually has 2 deposits. So let's go just do that one first. Also, it will be the hardest one because it's the furthest away. So, I mean, as it is, none of these are very far away. And the fact that they are not very far away is why I'm willing to do things on stream. Later, if I'm like venturing very far afield, I might not do all of this on stream. This is kind of a long fall, but hey, it should be fine. Okay. Yeah, there are 2 deposits over here. Which... There's one. Yep. And the other one. One pure, one normal. That's fine. Okay. So, we're just going to throw down... So, we're going to put down miners and then merge their inputs into one stream that heads over to the factory. So we don't want these approximately pointed at each other. Or at least pointed in a direction that is easy to merge. Okay. So I think what I'm going to do is get their stream together and then take their input, or take a conveyor belt over to the factory and then bring power back over here. So we need a conveyor merger, which is pointed approximately at the factory, which is that way. Well, let's actually look at the map. So there are a couple of different options as far as getting a conveyor belt of outputs, or of limestone, back to the factory. I can like go up this ramp and over, or I can go straight at this hard cliff here and then use a conveyor lift to get up over the cliff, which the cliff's not very high, so that's not a big ask. I think I'm going to use a conveyor lift. This is going to be a lot of like improvised construction. So if we point straight at the factory, then as we just demonstrated, there's a cliff in the way, but we can get over that. Okay, so we want the conveyor merger pointed roughly that way. And then just have these like that, which a Mark IV conveyor belt's kind of overkill here. Like on the normal one, it'll be producing 120 limestone per minute, and here I'll be producing 240. So the total here is actually going to be 120 plus 240 is 360. And Mark IV conveyors can hold carry 480. So actually, anyway, so I do actually need a Mark IV conveyor belt for carrying the final output. There's a lot of trees in the way, so let's do a bit of chainsawing just to try to clear out a relatively clear path. This is not strictly necessary, but if I don't do this, it's frankly kind of hard to see what I'm doing. Okay. Okay. Let's just harvest that. And throw a conveyor pole here. A little too long. Okay, that's fine. back a bit. There we go. Now, so that's the cliff that we have to scale. Let's take this over to the base. Let's see. So we're going to need to have an intermediate thing about there. And I do kind of want this fairly close to the base of the cliff, so let's go ahead and... The other thing I could do is just... if I just make a really tall pole right here, I could possibly... Actually, let's back it up just a bit. Let's try this with just a very tall pole and see if I can get the angle. If I can't get the angle, then from down there I can fix it and just do it with a conveyor lift. So now I need to get myself up there, which is probably the easiest way is to go this way, up the ramp. Well, sort of a natural ramp. I saw there was some poison gas in between here and there, but I probably can skirt around it. Yeah. Okay. So here we're at the top of a cliff, and I just need to get myself back over to where the conveyor belt was. Okay, here we go. Alright, let's do some chainsawing up here. Okay. So, if I can do this without a conveyor lift, we'll be like this. Ta-da! Okay, no problem. I'm gonna run out of encased industrial beam pretty soon here, but that's not a problem. I have lots of that sitting back at the factory. Now which direction do I want to go? I probably want to go... This looks like it's a relatively straight shot, but also there's an arch in the way, but maybe I can just build a pole on the arch. If I can stand on it. Yeah. Okay. Let's see if this is too long. Nope. Actually, let's elevate this just a bit. There. Oops, that is the wrong kind. Well, we can fix that. Okay. And so where we're heading is actually right here. So one of the questions is where to have materials from the ground go up to the pedals of the factory. So I think up the sides is a little bit better, just because I want to avoid business at the end closest to the center. So somewhere on the side over here is probably where I'm going to do it. So let's just get things over there. So the other thing is that since I have two input streams, one outstanding question is how fancy I want to get with the with the conveyor belts. Let's just get things over there first. Let's find a good spot. Alright, so because ultimately I think I'm going to have 4 miners mining limestone. So let's go ahead and call that good for now, and let's set up a miner over because I think if we do another scan here, yeah, there's one deposit over here. So, and this is pretty close to the Causeway terminal. Which is here. So I need to pick up more and more encased industrial beam, and this is a good time to do that. Yeah, got a lot of that. And I believe there is a limestone deposit here. Yep, here it is. Okay. Okay. And this is the concrete facility over here. So one thing is that, like, yeah, I can just go through the cleared out area. This is fine. Don't need to get too cute with this. Let's just go here. So I didn't carry power over to those other miners that I built, but in the process of powering up this one, that will make it easier to get power over there. Oops. Yeah, this is fine. Floor too steep. Okay, that's enough of that. And then this power pole I will use to send power to various things. Let's start with just... It's tempting to sometimes like use a minimum number of power poles, but in practice you don't. That isn't a very helpful thing. Like, a lot of power pole redundancy will just make your life easier later. I'm probably gonna run out of cables again, but... Alright, and let's go run power over to the other mining area now. Let's see, getting through this thing is going to be a little bit funky. Oh, that's livable. Now the question of getting down there safely. How much do I care? Alright. Actually, if you look at the power grid right now, so right now we are pretty below capacity. A lot of that is just because we have a lot of offline factory parts. Let's see, how efficient is it to ride this thing up? This is not bad. Okay. Alright, so we have one more miner to throw down. And it's right over here. Well, right over here he says it's still kind of a walk, but that's okay. Oh, also I'm out of cables, so I need to go make more cables. But I have enough copper that should not be a problem. Alright. Just make more cables. The next time I go back to the old factory, I'll probably ship some cables over here, so I don't have to do this as much, because I will be using a lot of cables. It might be a little while before I actually have copper mining up. Iron mining is going to be a higher priority. Okay. So here's the final limestone deposit. Let's actually just do a quick check and make sure this is the only deposit around here. Yeah, it's just this one. Okay. So point this in the general direction. I don't want it to... Okay. I just want to make sure it's not pointed at the central pillars, which it is not. Okay. So I'm going to try to skirt around the central pillars and then take it over to the concrete production area. I suppose it's conceivable that there could be some recipe that uses limestone, but I have not heard, besides making concrete, but I have not heard of such, so... Alright. I'm just going to go around here. I'm heading that way. Oh, I'm heading right under the arch. That's okay. Let's go this way. Let's make sure this is going to work the way I want it to. Yeah, we're good. Okay, so the limestone stream coming from over here is one pure and one normal. source, and and then this one is a normal, and that one is also normal. So I'm going to merge these two together, and that'll be two approximately comparable streams, and then I'll try to work out some nonsense to equalize them, which might not be necessary, but it's something I want to do. Okay. So what that means is I'm going to bring this down to here-ish. Then let's carry power over there too. Can I get a power pole up there? No. Well, maybe I could if I tried, but it's not that important. All right. Now we have all the miners constructed, and that's good. All right, so now it's time to do some silliness involving mergers. Okay, so what I want to do is equalize. I'm going to have two input belts, one on either side, going from the ground up to the factory level. The thing is that this one is going to be carrying the output from this will be carrying, I think, 360 limestone per minute, whereas these two put together will only be carrying 240. So I want to balance that out, and I'm going to do that via let's see if I can do this. Let's start by putting mergers on the quick bar. So I'm actually going to switch this out so it's splitter and then merger. So I think that I'm going to build. The other question is whether I should be doing this on platforms. Let's just make a foundation. Actually, let's try to position ourselves so that we're roughly in where we want to be. Okay. So if I put a foundation there and then... Wait, what happened? That should be on 4. Okay, hold on. Conveyor pole should be there. Okay, anyway. So, yeah. So if I put a splitter here and then a merger on top of it, and the merger will point roughly that direction. Yes. And then can I... Nope, can't do that. So I want to feed from this splitter straight into this merger, which initially sounds kind of redundant, but I promise it's for a good reason. Well, if I can't do that, how high does it have to be before it lets me do it? Why does it want to twist around like that? That's funky. I guess the the sensible solution here is to not do it like that. And that's fine. I can make compromises. Okay. So now we just feed like this. Whatever. And then we do the same thing over here. So first let's merge, let's get some foundations going here. Let's have a conveyor merger here that takes these two streams and combines them. And then a splitter here, and then a merger. Hold on. And then a merger like there. Okay. And then this splitter will talk to that merger, and that splitter will talk to this merger. Which I'm guessing are going to be a little too far apart. Yeah, okay. And I think to solve this problem, I'm going to use a stacking conveyor pole. Because we're going to have cross-talking conveyor belts. Okay. Okay, there. So now, once I connect this up, yeah, okay, let's just go ahead and do that. Here? Is this where I want this? Yes. Okay, so now the actual streams that'll head up are from this merger and that merger, and they are taking input from all sides. So if one side is overloaded compared to the other side, it will automatically feed into the other side. So they will balance out in a sort of crude way. So this is probably overkill for what I want, given that all I'm doing is making concrete. But that's fine. Can I snap this directly onto here? Oh boy, it crashes into the wall. So I actually did this a little bit better than I wanted to. So let's pick a spot here. I think probably I want it right around there. Which means this stream is going to need to... Let's do some testing here. Let's see, so if I hook this up... Well, that's horrible, but encroaching others' clearance. Whose clearance are you encroaching? That's obnoxious. But I can get around it. Yeah, okay. Alright, so if we build that there, and then snap a conveyor lift onto there, it still bonks into there, so I need to pull this back. That's fine. It just means we have to build it like over here. Yeah, that's good. I might need to double up that, but that's fine. Now let's get one over here. And so we want this pointed approximately there. So let's throw down a pole here. And then make sure this will do what we want. Yeah. And then what? Excuse me? Oh, can't afford. That's all. Okay. I can solve that problem. Yeah, getting steel production up and running will be like probably the next priority, which really just means iron and coal, but that will all be done later. Okay, now we can head up to the factory level and hook this stuff up to input, or to the actual constructors. While I'm over here, I'm going to throw away some of the stuff I picked up while I was out. Limestone can go in the trash, petals can go in the trash, leaves can go in the trash. Mycelia and wood will be stored. Anything else? I think that's probably all for now. All right. Yeah, these are pretty good actually, because so I want these things actually, so this one was originally set up with the input pointing this direction, but I can turn it around so that it's pointing in a slightly different direction. Like this. And then reconnect the belts. And then this can just stick in right like this. And then we'll have that side going. And then we just have to connect this up, which I'm totally fine making this like that. Okay, and now concrete production is going. Let's spot check this and make sure everything is working as designed. Looking good. And now we have concrete production. Alright, so next on the agenda I think is iron. We have to decide which pedal we want iron to be on. So iron production is going to be very central because a lot of parts are made out of iron and iron-derived products. And also, let's see, other question is how I want to divide up iron, like actual iron production versus steel production, because both of them are going to be pretty important. I think probably let's go get onto this observation tower that I have. Actually, let's just build another observation tower. Why not? Let's build another one opposite that one for variety. Alright, so if we call that pedal over there the 12 o'clock position, I think... So as I said, I do want iron and steel to be relatively central. Let's think about that. Do I want them to be adjacent, or do I want them to be like... I don't know. It's difficult, and I should probably just make a decision here. I'm thinking that probably, okay, so one other thing is that I was thinking of, in certain cases, whoa, something's wrong with that conveyor belt. Hold on, I have to fix this. Why are these things looped like this? That should not... Do I not have a... No, wait. There. That's better. Right, everything is fairly central, so that's kind of the crux of designing the factory like this. So nothing is too far away. So I think probably what I'll do is I think I'm going to have... So the other question is whether I should focus on iron first or steel first. I think I'm going to do iron first. So what that means is... Let's actually just do an iron scan and we can think about things. The other thing is offline I did let's do a coal scan first and I'll talk about what I discovered, which is that there's actually a ton of coal, like this thing here is actually like 5 coal deposits. So I think this will be our coal supplier for most of our coal needs. So I don't need to mine it all out right now, but it'll supply enough coal for a lot of stuff. The other thing is, let's do an iron scan. Okay. So there's iron over here. I think might be a third location. Anyway, most of our iron's going to come up from over here. And I'm thinking that I might do, like, smelting into iron ingots specifically might be done locally over here. Like, so I might pick a location and do iron smelting in this area, and then just send iron ingots over here, to the main factory. But steel, I will probably send iron ore to be combined with coal, because steel ingot creation is a little bit more complicated. So I don't like have to send the coal over there and then send steel ingots over here. So, given that, and actually, this is an interesting thing. I think what I'm going to do is do steel production on this minor pedal over here, and then I can make steel parts on these major pedals. Is that too touchy? I think that's actually fine because, yeah, you can't steel ingots are not used for building anything, whereas the steel parts that you make from the steel ingots are. So I don't really want to be sending. I don't want the steel ingots themselves to be too close to the central area. Now, okay. So let's build out this miner pedal a bit. Let's also just like aspirationally queue up some assemblers that will be making the steel. Yeah, okay. I also decided that miner pedals, to make them a little bit closer, can be 9 wide instead of 11. Like, so the major pedals will be 11 blocks wide, and the minor pedals will be 9. So what that means is we have 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and there that'll be 9. I mean, the other thing is that one thing that could be is allowed is that the minor pedals can actually, if I wanted to, you can approximate a point. Like, if you want to, you can do this. Make kind of a triangular structure at the end of each pedal. I don't plan on actually doing this unless I have a good reason to. The main thing is that, like, the one reason to do this would be to, like, build stuff here, and it seems like that would make things get kind of messy pretty quickly. So, for the time being, I'm not going to do that, but one thing that I might do is, I might start with the a minor pedal being 9 wide, and then later expand it out to 11 a little bit further out. And the reason for that I will explain very shortly. Oops, I'm out of concrete. Fortunately, I can solve this problem now that I have automated concrete production. So this is definitely illustrating why the first thing that I automated over here was concrete production. All right. Okay, if we build an assembler, just for reference purposes, and look at the steel ingot stream, which should be somewhere here. Oh wait, no. I'm a dope. Steel is made in a foundry, not in an assembler. And in that case, I don't want 8 assemblers, I want 8 foundries. But first let's think about foundries. Okay. Message has a question. How much vertical clearance is required for the various creators and power plants? Is it possible to make another level by going up X amounts of distance, putting down some foundations, then building an additional factory above existing factory? Yes. Good question. Definitely I expect that eventually I'm going to build another level of factory above this one, just because, like, the game is intentionally complicated, and I don't actually, I should make that clear. And I have not really said that very explicitly. I don't expect the 12 pedals that I've built right now to fully accommodate everything. So once I've used up all the pedals for, like, relatively basic stuff, the solution is going to be to build another level on top of this level. The problem is that buildings are variable in height. So like, constructors are relatively short. You can see that the foundry has the extra part sticking up, but is about the same height. By comparison, oil refineries, which I can't build because I'm missing heavy modular frame, oil refineries are extremely tall. So I have to think carefully about where I place oil refineries because they will constrain the extent to which I can build vertically. I mean, one solution to that is to make the next level varying levels. That's a problem that I will tackle in the future. But yes, definitely the plan is to have incorporate some degree of verticality here. But we will get to that point eventually. For comparison, like an assembler is about as tall as a foundry. On the other hand, a manufacturer, which I don't have the parts for, manufacturers are also about as tall. They are extremely broad, so that is a consideration. And then smelters are about as tall as the other basic things. A little bit taller, looks like, but not hugely so. And then, like, there's also a world, like, fuel, like, burning generators are also very tall. Like, if you can put one over there. It's, like, even taller than the observation tower. That's... And actually, I can also demonstrate oil refineries the same way. So yeah, oil refineries are super tall. Coal power plants are super tall. Yeah. Things related to fossil fuels are really tall. So if I can have those things not on the flower at all, then that makes it so the next level doesn't need to be as tall. Anyway, so steel ingots is also a situation where the inputs are being used faster than the outputs. One problem with this is that because there are two inputs, that means I need to have like 2 layers of splitters. Which, given that I'm building the foundries on a 9-wide platform, does create some issues here. So let's pick this thing up. So if we want to have okay, let's actually build this out from the middle. So let's say we have a merger, merging inputs here. And we have 2 foundries pointed at this one. Let's see. I'm guessing we probably don't want them. And I don't like building like this. Like, this is technically possible, but it's really hard to actually place things like that. So I don't think it's spaced out a little bit more than that. And I'm willing to do whatever accommodation is necessary to achieve that. And then let's put another one over here. These things actually point... Nope. That's fun. Okay, so... things like foundries and assemblers are not as well aligned as you might think. So I want these things pointed straight at the merger. Are these things really equally spaced? This is actually the important question, so I do want to make sure they are equally spaced. Okay, I think I want it like that. Yeah. So the arrows should be slightly overlapping. Good. Okay, now if we do this, this is actually not bad because I can, if we say we have, so now we have 2 input ports here, and we say we can take splitters like this. Right, yeah. And then we do the same thing on this side. Wait a minute. No, that's fine. Okay, and that gives us plenty of clearance on either side of this. That's good. I thought it would be worse than that. Okay. I guess the main thing is that foundries are pretty compact along this axis, so that's pretty livable. That's actually somehow more space than I had over in the concrete area, I think. Well, anyway, I'm not going to sweat that right now. Okay. The other question is whether I actually want them this close to the edge, and I think the answer is probably no. So even though I just built this all very meticulously, I'm going to collect it, because I built it this close because I had not built out the pedal very far. But now I'm going to go do that. And actually what we're going to do is, once I build this out, I'm going to head back over to the main factory, because I think our heavy modular frames are probably done, such that I can finish the Bayer process. And that will also give us the opportunity to ship some cables over here, so. Let's do one more row. And yeah, the coal is somewhere, well, I mean, it's over that direction. So this will work out pretty well. Just to refresh, this is off topic, but to refresh my own memory, I want to know where the nearest copper sources are. They're probably near the iron sources. But, okay, so there's one over there. Whoa, something happened at audio. Hold on. Oh, did I accidentally push the mute button on my headphones? Yes, that is what happened. Okay. Anyway. Wow, copper is not very close. Like, there's a tiny bit in this direction. Oh well. That's a little bit off topic, so I'm not going to sweat it right now. What that might mean is that I might be, like, the copper that was over here, I might be hooking up off stream, because it's kind of far away. That's fine. So now we get to ride the conveyor back to the original factory. I'm carrying a lot of stuff. I'm going to put away some of this reinforced concrete so I have some more space in my inventory. Oops, not there. If I'm doing things like shipping cables over here, I need to be able to. Also, it's worth noting that there's a safety issue here. If you're riding this conveyor belt and don't make any inputs, it kind of flings you into here, which is actually fine, but it can get a little bit dicey. So just I have to pay attention and make sure I don't accidentally like fling myself. One thing I was noting was that is like we already know that the very tall pink trees are super tall, but if you look at the map, like the highest geographical feature in the vicinity is like this, and the trees are actually way taller than this thing. Which once I get over there, I'm gonna give a little demonstration. Xmosh has a tip. All right. Well, just a second. I'm gonna build a stackable pole in the corner. Keep you on the belt. That's interesting. I'll experiment with that later to see exactly what you mean. So that right there is like the highest local point. There probably are other very high points. I don't know if this is necessarily the highest point on the map, but it's extremely high. Like there's high stuff over there, but in any case, this right here is the highest point locally, and we're clearly way above that. And the trees are all like several levels down over here, and they are above the current conveyor belt. So the point being, the trees are really, really tall. Although it makes me think about how they stack up against like actual tall trees in real life, because like giant sequoias can be close to 100 meters tall, I think. So these things may not actually even be as tall as giant sequoias, but. And of course I can also parachute off of here. It doesn't do much because my lateral velocity will be about the same as riding on the conveyor belt, but it is fun. It also gives us a good view of this factory. So all of these facilities will be replaced. Not all of them, but most of them. I'm pretty sure that those waterfalls there are not actually part of the map. I think that's part of the skybox, which is kind of cool that they animated part of the skybox, which is a nice touch. But let's see. I think the first thing I want to do is ship some cables over. So let's try to get ourselves to the cable area. The fact that it takes so long to fall is why this actually is not necessarily a time-saving mechanism, but that's not the point. I guess I could get up to some shenanigans involving like parachuting for a while and then free falling and then parachuting again. But that seems like a good way to get myself killed, so let's just take all these cables. Get our shoes back on. And the shipping point is somewhere over here. Alright, so this container is connected up to the conveyor belt that'll carry it all the way over there, so let's send all this stuff. Keep around 2 stacks. So that'll take like time. So that's why the fact that it takes time to ship stuff over is why I wanted to kick that off earlier. Otherwise I would like get over there and the cables would not have arrived yet. Okay, so I should have, I think, yeah, I just need 100 of these, so. Now we can finish the Bayer process milestone.
Milestone reached. A new generation of parts and building upgrades is now available, most of which are aluminum-based.
Great. And because that was a relatively major milestone, the pod will be gone for a long time. But now we have Miner Mark III. So this looks like I can build it right now, but it requires turbo motors. So I am a long ways off from Mark III Miner because building turbo motors is quite outside of my current abilities. Because let's see, this turbo motor requires heat sinks, which requires aluminum, and rubber, which is just oil products. And then radio control unit, which requires heat sinks and rubber, and also crystal oscillators, or whatever those things are called. And then normal motors and other more rubber. So anyway, I'm a long ways off from Mark III miners, so that's like weeks and weeks. It is, of course, an important goal because having Mark III miners would be nice, but it'll be a little while. Anyway, are there any else? If I'm going to be focusing on steel production first, I'm going to ship over some iron parts because okay. Because I'm going to run out of iron parts if I'm producing steel instead. I mean, eventually I'll be doing both, but I appear to be doing steel parts first, which is fine. And let's actually ship over more steel rods than that, or iron rods. Alright, and the other thing we probably want to look at now that we have the Bayer process is aluminum production, because let's just take all, yeah. So if we look at our recipes now, down towards the bottom, aluminum ingot, which requires bauxite and silica. So silica is quartz to silica. So I have to be able to. I already have scanning of quartz, but let's just. I don't expect there to be any bauxite nearby, but let's find out. Will give us something to do while we're walking over there. As you can tell, the nearest bauxite is not very close. It's like 1.5 kilometers. Okay. Okay. Yeah, so this is one of the reasons why I wanted to build the factory, a new factory more centrally. It was just because all the bauxite is over here. And of course, this is why I was considering building it in the pink bamboo forest. But I'm okay mining bauxite over here and sending it over to the bloomin' work. Okay. And as far as quartz goes, because I need quartz to make aluminum somehow, there's some here, and then there's also some here. Either one of these places would be okay. I think this place is a little bit closer and has actually more quartz. So I'll probably be doing it from over here and then sending it over there, which again, that's pretty far away. So I might be doing that offline. But I think now that we've got our cable, we can head back over. Actually, if I'm going to be building foundries and like assemblers and stuff, let's send over some of the materials needed for that. I guess this is just steel pipe for foundries, but also like modular frame and the rotors. Because modular frames are over here. So let's get like 5 stacks of modular frames, and that should be enough to keep us busy for quite a long time. Because eventually we want to be making encased industrial beam, and that requires assemblers. And also, I guess steel pipe is made in constructors. But in any case, rotors are being made over here. These are things that I can hand manufacture at small scales, but if I don't have to do that, I probably should skip it. Okay. So what I'm going to do now, I could put all these into the shipment box like I've been doing with the other stuff, but since I'm heading over there anyway, it'll be a little bit faster if I just do it. If I just walk over there and then put them in the box when I get there. So let's go. This will also demonstrate pretty conclusively how much faster you run on the belts than the belts actually move the items, because we'll see how much stuff I catch up to. Because right now it's moving all iron rods, which probably looks like garbage on stream, but that's okay. We will see if I catch up to the iron rods. I may not, but my expectation is that I will. Guess I have to switch back to parachutes here. Actually, I'm not going to parachute because my objective here is going to be up. There were some iron plates that I just caught up to. I'm going to go to the storage containers that these are going into. Oh, caught up to the iron rods, which is over there. Which I think it will, in fact, be faster to skip the falling time and just go to the shipping container. Okay. Oh, hey, So Xmosh there said that you can build a stackable pole in the corner to keep you on the belt. I'm not sure exactly what that means, but let's assume that they mean use it kind of like a backstop. So if I put belt there, that's a pretty minimal attempt, but I may need more than that. Hey, it did it. Almost. That's weird. I might, because that looked like it did it, but I got tossed off. Like, I'm still going at a slight angle. Let's build another one. Like, this is probably not going to work. I'm going to verify that this is not going to do what I want, but nope. Yeah, that was a little too much angle. Okay. What if I mean, this is using the, I mean, with the barest amount of keyboard input, I could make this do what I want, but actually, no, I already said that was too sharp. What if we do one like, one game, okay. Like here. Huh. Let's do some more testing here. That's pretty good. Okay. That's not very aesthetic, but it does do what I want, so I'll live with that for now. Also, my air conditioners come on at 5 in the morning. That's a little embarrassing. Hold on, I actually have a window open, so having the air conditioner on with the window open is not ideal. But apparently because the air conditioner needs to come on, I'm going to go close the window. So I'm going to step away briefly, but I'll be back in less than like 20 seconds. Alright, if anyone's curious, my thermostat is set to 78 degrees, which, so the fact that and I'm on the ground floor of my apartment too, so it's not even that hot, but it's like 75 or something outside, so, oh, I'm out of storage space. Well, that's fine. I'm gonna go make some more storage space. I have the material to build industrial storage, right? Yeah, okay. Alright, so I want that storage container to be for, like, crap I pick up when I'm walking around outside. So I'm going to make another storage container that'll be for actual, like, manufactured parts. This is where I'll put these modular frames and rotors. I don't actually need them right now because I'm building foundries, but speaking of which, I will need more steel pipes, but I think I have some steel pipes over there. Let's go find out. Yeah, I feel vaguely guilty running the air conditioner this early in the morning. It seems like I should be able to just open windows and get better circulation. I actually don't open the windows very much just because I have cats, and I don't want the cats, like, going out the windows. Can you ride vertical conveyors? That's a very good question. The answer is no, unfortunately. Because, like, I have some over here. Well, Anyway, no, you can't interact with conveyor lifts in any meaningful way, so nope, can't ride vertical elevators. There are jump pads, but I don't like jump pads very much, so they're... I feel like they lead to falling damage more often than is justified, and they also consume electricity, so... I may eventually build different means of getting up and down the factory level, but for now I'm just using ladders and parachutes, which there may be better solutions, but okay. Where were we? There's the concrete area. Well, let's queue up some foundries to make sure I have enough. Yeah, 8 foundries. Looks like I have enough of that stuff. That's good. And I believe this was the miner pedal that I said I was going to build the foundries on. So let's pick a spot. I think I want to leave, like, minimally I want to leave 3 foundations deep for, like, logistical stuff. So let's put a merger here. Actually, let's back it up to 4, just for safety. Okay. So then we place 2 foundries. Again, we need to point the first one manually. And I think that's the spacing that I want. And then once that's done, we can place the other ones as long as they are a uniform spacing. Let's just test that this is working the way we think it is. Yes, good. Okay. Having demonstrated that, now we can build the remaining 4. Like this. Okay. And now to give them orders. Oh, now we have the ability to make the aluminum ingot, which takes a lot of bauxite and silica. That's kind of obnoxious that it's not a balanced number, but it's not a huge deal. Okay. Alright. So let's just, and if we do some calculations here, the Mark IV conveyor carries, yes, okay, so yes, conveyor lift Mark V is just aluminum plate. I think that's what that part is. Oh, Alcad aluminum sheet. Oh boy, this requires aluminum ingot and copper ingot. Oh boy. So, if you want the Mark V, it's pretty involved, but that's fine. Anyway, And also it carries 780, which is a very obnoxious number. I mean, it's more than 720, but it's also not divisible by 12. Actually, it is divisible by 12. Because it's 720 plus 60. That's still, it's not, it's less round than some other numbers could have been. Why not make it 800? Why not? Anyway. So anyway, Mark IV conveyor carries 480, and these things output 30 per minute. So 8 times 30 is 240. So these 8 foundries is only going to use half the capacity of a Mark IV conveyor belt. So that's cool. So at some point in the future, if I'm not making enough steel somehow, I can just double this, and I should still have enough conveyor capacity for it. Alright. So now let's actually just stand on these. I think this will be the easiest way to do this. And do some really basic factory construction stuff. There we go. So then once we hook up the belts for this, then we will go out and find some coal and iron. What is going on here? Is this merger pointing the wrong direction? It sure looks like it. There we go. Let's try that again. Nope. What is going on here? Oh, there's a conveyor pole there. How did that happen? There we go. I'm not sure how that specific problem arose, but it's fine. I solved it. And we also need this here. Okay, there. So again, this is making steel ingots. I could make storage for steel ingots, but I don't see the point because steel ingots are not used as components for buildings. So really all steel ingots should be going into other like assemblers and other stuff. I guess I could make a storage of steel ingots for personal use, but I really don't want to do that. I'm still going to put a splitter here because we do still want to split output between like steel pipes and steel beams. Or do I even want to do that? I could have all steel ingots going into a split thing. Xmosh thinks I've missed one of the outputs. That's quite possible. Let's do a check. Hey, you're right. Thank you, Xmosh. Alright, well, we have lots of work to do before we'll need to worry about what to do with our steel ingots. Also, can I even walk between these? Not easily. So these are actually, I might have wanted to space these out a little bit more. Because I've already done it, I'm just going to live with it, but I prefer to be able to walk between factory buildings a little more without having to bounce around like a rabbit. Oh well. Alright, let's line up inputs here. Okay, so let's assume that we're going to do this sort of like Is that going to be necessary? The other thing I could do is have one input stream, but that kind of defeats the purpose of this. So we're going to have coal coming from that direction, iron coming from that direction, very approximately. Or maybe like more like over there. So the question is how I want to arrange the inputs. I think probably just to keep things cleaner up here on the factory level, I'm still going to have it be like I did with the concrete and have two sets of one set of conveyor lifts on each side. So there's going to be a total of 4 conveyor lifts, two on this side and 2 on that side. Which means I want the initial splitters to be pointed at that direction. Okay, so do this like this. And then subsequent splitters need to be pointed this direction. This is kind of obnoxious that there's no snapping point there. But there just ain't, so... Okay. So now we get to place a bunch of conveyor belts. And like that. So again, this is the sort of activity that is a little repetitive. And I'm okay with doing this off stream, but this is... some of it on stream will be a little bit inevitable. That looks good. Xmosh has in their tip. Started stacking the splitters in the middle of the foundry, one splitter width away, and then pulling diagonal belts. Oh, okay, so you have, like, just two, so like a splitter like this, and then, like, the lower one would carry coal, and the upper one would carry iron ore, for example. That's also a fine solution. I may switch to that, but since this one's done for the sake of symmetry, I'm going to do the other one the same way. Yeah, also no belts clipping. Yep. Yeah, the clipping belts is not something I love. I mean, it doesn't cause actual problems, but it's not very aesthetic. It is a little bit weird to walk around. Oops. No, this is fine. This is weird. There we go. And then this one need to be pointed the other direction. Like that. Okay. Let's stand there. this way. And Mark 4 conveyors here. Oops, go away. And like that. Okay, great. Okay, so now we just need to go collect our coal and iron ore and send it this way. So this is going to mean building some number of miners. Which again, I would love to be able to build Mark 3 miners, but can't yet. So let's say 6. Is 6 kind of excessive? 6 is a lot. Let's just do 4 for now. I think 4 will be enough to keep us busy. Okay, so we need more steel pipes, definitely. Let's go... Let's also go... How much of a diversion would it be to see what that... Let's collect the steel pipes, and then while we're headed over to the coal area, I'll build some ramps and stuff to get up there and see what that crashed pod requires. Also, I am hella lost. If I have any pipes, they are over here. If I'm plumb out of pipes, then I need to make a trip back to the original factory, which would be a little annoying because I just was over there, but okay. We have enough pipe. Okay. Because I'm a little bit lazy, I'm going to build an equipment workshop here. Because I don't want to walk all the way over to the 12 o'clock pedal just to build some portable miners. There we go. Alright, so let's head out. How are we doing on bullets? We have plenty of bullets. Let's grab some more iron parts. In case I need to make walkways. There we go. And we do have some concrete. Let's actually grab like one more bag of concrete. So if we head over to going that direction, I think I did build a bridge somewhere. Oh, also there are crabs. I think I can... Nope, can't jump that. Oh wait, here's a bridge here. Yeah. Let's deal with these crabs. Where's my detonator? There it is. Okay. Oh, there's another crab on the bridge. I should probably just leave the dynamite on, because there's also crabs here. Oh wow, this is like a spiraling ramp here. But in any case, Okay, I think that's probably all the crabs in the vicinity. Certainly getting a belt of coal over to the foundry area will be an interesting challenge. Whether to take the high road or the low road. So the crash pod's over there. Let's build a ramp. This is not super important. I'm kind of interested to see if they, let's see, is this gonna work? No, I'm gonna need to, what I'm gonna do here is back off a bit, turn the corner. There, this is a solution. Any good loot over here? Hey, there's a battery. And circuit boards. Yeah, I'm probably okay on cables, but I am building a bunch of miners, so let's go ahead and grab these cables. And the actual pod wants 1 stator and 20 megawatts. That's not bad. I can go make a stator. Right, 'cause that's just pipe and wire. And I can get 20 megawatts up here. How easily can I do this? There we go. It connects underground. The crash pod is certainly crashed in an interesting orientation. Okay, so how long can I throw down a power pole right there? I can. This feels like cheating, but well, I have to go back down there to get a stator, so let's just walk. Also reinforced iron plates. I'll put away some of this stuff, because like the reinforced iron plates I don't think I need a huge amount of, and like circuit boards I won't need for a long time. Oh. I guess one approach would be to parachute. Actually, no, this is still fine. Let's see. Can't go that long. Now, one issue is that getting back over there might be, well... No, this is fine. I'm just going to parachute. So, oh right, I'm carrying some circuit boards and stuff. I need to make a stator. Since I need to make a stator, I'm gonna go over to the main area once I get this power line hooked up. This is allowed? Well, okay. time for a little bit of a walk. So the temptation is to build like crafting benches all over the dang place, but I want to resist that, and same with like storage, but I'm going to try to resist that temptation. So I'm going to store the circuit boards and other stuff here. So circuit boards, batteries, reinforced iron plate. I'm probably going to pick up more pale berries later, but that's not a big deal. All right, and then I forgot how many stators they wanted. Let's make like 10. I think it was only like 2 or 3, but I just want to make sure I have enough. Okay. And now we head back. Refine the bridge. The bridge is over here. Oops. I've made an error. Let's put on a parachute, because I might find myself falling. Okay. Let's, where am I? Okay. I need to get back up here. And try that again. That's fine. Gonna be over there. This is gonna involve some walking. Alborix says nighttime means slug hunting time. I got plenty of slugs. Okay, let's try this again. Because I want to be over on this little isthmus here. There we go. That's better. And then I have to make the jump. No problem. Another thing I might do off stream is go on hard drive hunt, because this is... Hard drives are a powerful treasure, but this is pretty time consuming. And you kind of get the gist of what's happening here. Okay, got the hard drive. Alborix has some comments on multiplayer. Yes. Yeah, that's one of the things. I mean, I'm definitely interested in doing multiplayer with people I know. At some point, maybe, but definitely the hazard is that you end up with like everybody doing different things and everything ends up disorganized. So it is a question of how. There's a slug, for example, but it's guarded by lots of crabs, and I don't really care. I just mostly need to get down. You know what, let's just parachute down there, why not? How is this? Anyway. So I've already been here before. There were a lot of various hazards. Oh, there's also another crashed pod here. I can't remember what this thing wants. Just power. Okay, so eventually when I bring power down here to power up the miners that are mining coal, I can power up that pod and get another hard drive. Anyway, so I cleared out most of the hazards here off stream. Otherwise, this would be a very dangerous place. So here's some coal deposits. Let's just throw down miners to get them. Let's see. Some of them are pure, and I would like to mine those first. Here's one. Oh. There are some friends. There are many friends. Oh, goodness. And there was a spitter. I don't think the spider was spitting. I think spitters are different. Oh boy. Do we have a spitter stuck in the coal deposit? We do. That is obnoxious. It's also dark. So I kind of hope they fix this problem at some point, because this is real stupid. I have to like do some terrible triangulation bullshit. You know what? Oh, I'm nearly dead. Let's resolve that. Let's attempt explosives. Let's keep attempting explosives. This is not working very well. If this keeps up, I might just like ignore this coal deposit for now and deal with this in daylight and off stream. Okay. To hell with that guy. There are other coal deposits. Let's see here. Yeah, the spitter is like inside the geometry, which is probably not intended. I've encountered this before, where like if it was brighter outside, sometimes you can see like a tiny bit of the enemy sticking out. And then you can actually shoot it, but like because it's stuck in the geometry, it can't get itself out because it's not smart enough. And oh, here's a spitter. Please don't get stuck in the geometry. Come on, chase after me a little bit. There we go. There we go. Because they don't take much firepower to kill, but like if there's geometry problems, then anyway. I don't need to play that game. Anyway, these are both pure deposits, I think. Yeah, that one is, and that one also is. So these two will take care of my coal needs for the immediate future. Okay, we want to send the coal approximately that direction. So we get to build a long series of belts. Oops, I don't care about Smart Splitter at the moment, I just want Merger. Yes, geometry was Sunday, so... Right. Okay, so that's fine. What am I doing on? I'm gonna run out of encased steel beam here, so I'm gonna use up what I've got, and then I'll have to run back to the factory to pick up more. But in any case, so we have to decide how I want to get stuff up. So I have a couple of options. I can run through here and then like run through the underbrush, which would probably involve more chainsaws. Or I can jump up this cliff here. Hey, there's a spitter up there. And then go over here, and then there are, as we saw, there are some like short bridges. I can probably get across here. Even if I can't get across with natural things, I can. What tier do you unlock the map? Well, it's the Z button. It's pretty early. But you do have to unlock it. And I think it is the last hotkey, last like shortcut that gets unlocked. I can't remember exactly, and I would have to be back at the hub, I think. I guess I could scroll through here. Let's see. Anyway. Yeah, I think if you can scan for oil, you should have the map, I want to say. But like I said, I can't remember exactly. Oh, there's some animals. I think I'm gonna go through the underbrush because, anyway, not for any specific reason, but because there are more coal deposits over here, and I'm gonna eventually mine them, I guess, so, let's go deal with the hogs. Everyone get your 30 to 50 hog jokes in now. That's a ragdoll. Okay. Nope, it's not a ragdoll. Now it is. Okay. Okay. So if we're going the low road, I'm gonna like try to go around this way through here, and then like that. And again, I'm gonna run out of reinforced or encased industrial beam right quick, but let's just get that part out of the way. Oh, you need to research raw quartz. Okay, it doesn't require much quartz technology. You just need kind of like some, because I have barely any quartz done, but I did have enough to get the map. Okay, let's go here. Okay. Now I have less than 24 encased industrial beams, so it's time to go for a little walk. And while I'm doing that, I can also bring power down here. And maybe do some chainsawing if I see things that I will definitely need to chainsaw. Okay, so for example, let's get this tree out of the way. Maybe important to not get too turned around here. Up. Also looks like there are crabs here. Okay. And I definitely want to be going up through straight through here, so I think I'm going to have to deal with these crabs. Good morning, squirrel token. We're blowing up crabs. Which, it's been a little while since I've actually just shown that on screen, but mostly because it doesn't look like much. Oh. Xmos asks why I'm sticking the nobelisks to the plant instead of throwing them. Because I didn't know you could throw them. Because the throw range is so short. Like, is it... Oh, the range is good enough. Let's see here. Can you charge the throw? I have not investigated this very much. Can you, like... Oh. Oh, so it is like a grenade throw. Okay, that's fine. Yeah. Alright. We're learning. Okay. I think that's... There may yet be other crabs. Let's see here. No, it looks like it's relatively cleared out now. Okay. Let's consider whether there's any chainsawing that needs to be done. So I'll be coming from this direction. Looks like there are more crabs up high, but I can ignore those. And then we want to go roughly this direction. So let's clear this area out a little bit. So I'll eventually have a conveyor belt line and a power line going through here, so I'm going to make sure that I have enough space to work with. Okay, that's not from crabs. I can't deal with that, so I'll just have to skirt around that poison gas. Okay, this will suffice. Now I'm here because I need more encased industrial beams, so let's go ahead and pick that up. Let's throw away our leaves and petals. And, actually, since I'm carrying a hard drive, well, I'm going to pick up another hard drive pretty soon, so I'm not going to worry about, putting that away just yet. Okay, so let's grab a power line here. Go around the side here. Let's also think about, so where am I going to want the coal line to come up? Probably like I'm going to have the coal line come up here and the power line skirt around the other side. Okay. All right. And then going this direction. Yes. Okay, and then the crashed pod is right over there, so let's go do that. Which is to say, over here. All right. Oops. The other thing to note is that crash pods continue to pull electricity after they've been opened, even though they don't do anything. So one thing I forgot to do with the last crash pod was to disconnect it. So it'll just sit there pulling 50 megawatts or however much it was forever unless I manually disconnect it. So I think actually before I connect up this power, I'm going to run the conveyor belt down. So anyway, at some point I'm going to have to remember to go back up there and disconnect that crashed pod. Excuse me. My body's waking up this morning. Which it's not crucial to get that 50 megawatts back, but it's doing literally nothing now, so I am pretty incentivized to disconnect it. Okay, so then this will run over here. Now that it's a little bit brighter, I wonder if I can go see that spitter that was stuck in the geometry. Is this the one? The other thing is that animals do kind of range around, and I think despawn and respawn. I don't know exactly what the rules are, but it's possible that it's just gone now. I think it was that one, but yeah. Is there anything over here that already just check this stuff out? Yeah, okay. That just leads over there. That's fine. Okay. I think the spitter is gone, but that's fine. Okay. Alright, well thanks for joining Masters. Probably be going for another half hour or so. You're not going to miss too much, because this is just going to be me hooking up coal and then doing the same thing with iron. Wow, that's some pop-in. So there's a crashed pod part here that isn't doing anything, but it like pops out at whatever that is, like 10 meters or something like that, which is really short. Anyway. Alright, I think now I'm going to head back and hook up the power so that I don't have to come back again once I get this. Okay. So, for power connection, I'm going to loop around here and then get up here where the conveyor belt is. That's good. And let's just throw this down here and this will be fine. Alright. And then make sure both of these are using coal, which... This will be a lot of coal. 2 pure output things will make 240 each, so we'll actually saturate a Mark IV belt, because Mark IV belts are 480. Yep. I'm going to ride this down a little ways. There we go. Okay. Alright, more belt action here. Yep. Oops, nope. I do want this to be elevated a bit. There are trade-offs to elevating conveyor belts like this. It makes it easier to walk around if you don't want to be riding the belts, but it makes it harder to get onto the belts if you want to be riding them. I guess in that sense, stackable poles are probably what I should be using because it's the same height, and you have the option of climbing up onto them if you want to do that. Yeah, that's probably what I should be doing. Stackable poles, their geometry is such that I find it a little bit harder to stick belts to them. That's probably just because of a question of practice. Yeah, their snap-on boxes just feel like they're a little bit smaller. Yeah, Xmosh is correct that like if there's some other thing, like if I want to run, for example, if I'm mining quartz over here, I might bring the quartz line around and then hook it up with on the stacking poles with the coal and run the same line up. The other thing is if I'm mining so much coal that I can't accommodate, you know, if it's saturating an entire Mark IV belt and I somehow don't have Mark V belts yet, I can just pile another line on here. So there are a lot of reasons why stackable poles are preferable. Yes, they technically, if you want to make them tall, they will require more resources than a conveyor belt, than a normal conveyor pole, but that is a very minor problem to have. Okay, so since I don't want this thing to crash into the foundations, I'm going to keep it low down here. And I'm basically out of... wow, let's see here. Oop. Almost all of my encased industrial beams. Get those leaves out of here. Okay. Okay, so we want the coal. Oops. Okay, so this is an interesting problem. So the ultimate destination for this coal is over here, where we're gonna make steel. So I guess I have to loop it around. That's actually not that bad. Let's see here. Let's see if that's too sharp of an angle. It may be. Nope. This is gonna get a little bit of a mess, but I think it'll be livable. So I'm going to head to approximately there. But I don't need to go all the way because I'm gonna have to do some splitting logistics. Okay, I'm gonna leave it here for now. And go mine some iron. But I'm gonna need a lot of encased industrial beams, so let's go try to pick up some more of that first. Also, let's drop off these power slugs and hard drives and stuff. At some point, I'm going to move the hub over here, and we'll see if that happens before or after I research these hard drives. I may do the hard drive research first, because I don't really want to move the hub over here until, like, I at least have basic iron and copper production online. Okay, I'll put away these stators, because I probably won't need them for very much, for a while. Okay. Also, I think I have more encased industrial beams over here. If I don't have more encased industrial beams over here, then what will I do? Okay, I have some. This is going to be close. Well, I can go ahead and use all these up, and then if I need to walk over to the original factory, then I can do that. Let's identify some iron locations. That's going to scan for coal, you dunce. I think there are some over here, so let's just head that way. Okay. Yep. There's a whole bunch over that way. This has like 4 deposits. Well, let's check out the very close by ones. If I can get, let's see, here's a pure deposit and another pure deposit. Let's not make things more complicated than they need to be. This way we'll have 2 pure coal sources and 2 pure iron sources. And that will be enough to make a lot of steel. Okay. Now I don't need this coal or iron ore in my inventory, so I think, in fact, I'm going to just merge these together and zip them straight up this cliff. So let's clear out these trees. What are you doing? Oh. There we go. Wait a minute. I'm in range to pick up that iron ore over there. I'm nowhere near it. Is there an invisible iron patch here? What is going on? That doesn't seem correct. Because, like, okay, if I stand over here in the grass, let's see how far I have to get. Okay, so if I look at my feet. Okay, so actually you can pick up the iron ore within, as soon as it, like, within a few meters of where it devolves over there. Whereas, like, okay, so if I stand in between these iron patches and walk towards that one, say, okay, alright. So it's not that, I think what was tripping me up there was that doing this, I imagined that the range of this is about the range of what the chisel looks like, but it's actually a lot longer than that. So this is like extendo arm chisel. You know, a magical chisel, because like if I look at my feet, I'm not chiseling right here, I'm chiseling over there. And like the chisel is obviously not reaching that far. Anyway, that's not super important. That's just like goofy geometry nonsense. Okay. Anyway. Okay, so if we actually just point these miners basically right at each other. Like this. And then have a merger right here-ish. It's gonna, and then we can send a conveyor lift. Like that. There. Okay, now I have to get back up there and then move the coal ore over to the steel area. Lord. Yeah. Looks like it's further over. It might actually be up there, which that would be goofy. Actually, it probably is not. This might involve a lot of chainsawing. Up here it is. Okay. Yeah, this is fine. Only a moderate amount of chainsawing. Alright. Okay, and where we want to go is... This is concrete zone. That's iron or steel zone, so we're going to go over that way. So actually the... what am I talking about? The coal and the iron ore will be heading in from approximately the same direction, which is totally fine, but that wasn't quite what I expected to happen. What am I doing? Let's just put a conveyor pole here. I should be able to reach it. There we go. Okay. There definitely is a world where I'm running more coal ore from this general area stacked up on these conveyor poles. Let's see here. I guess one problem with conveyor poles, or stacking conveyor poles, is they don't have this convenient, their geometry is, well, it's mostly just different, and I have to get used to that. Yeah, this is fine. Get very tall. Let's see if this collides. This might be colliding with some existing poles. Come on. Find the spot. There we go. Nope, we're good. This is not breaking any rules, I swear. Whatever. Okay, let's actually, for giggles, see, that was not quite what I'm going to put conveyor pole up here. Oops, that's That's not pointing the right direction. Okay. So now I can see the coal source. Okay. Now then. What time is it? I can probably get steel production going before I run out of time. I think what I'm gonna do is set up. Actually, that won't work. Because if you anchor, I'm thinking kind of weird. So I want to probably clear out this tree. Anyway, what I'm talking about is where to place the conveyor lifts that go up there. So let's start with a splitter for the coal and then go from there. Let's make sure that we can like do this. I think this may or may not be allowed. That is not allowed. Too steep. Okay. Will be allowed if I just make it lower. Yes. Okay. That's fine. And then I think I want the coal to be going up like somewhere over there, which actually, this is all. Well, if I just stick one here. I actually want it further down. Should I be splitting earlier on? There's a compelling argument that I should just make a splitter here. Okay, let's just go ahead and do that. And let's just reclaim this stuff. Because if we just make a splitter like here, and then confirm that we can still run this into there. Yep, that's fine. Nothing illegal happening here. And then test this location. This looks good. It's just not pointed the right way. So what I'm going to do is point this like this. Hook up a coal connection. That's a little gross, but I don't care. And then we can have a conveyor lift snap on there and then point that direction. That probably won't be tall enough. I'll need another one. That's totally fine. Okay. And then the other coal will go up here. Can I get it up there? Nope, that's gonna be too long. Okay. So this should be allowed. Yeah, no problem. And we're going to send it over there. So... Zoop, okay. And then... Oh boy, this is going to be... Okay, this is going to get a little silly, because I want to have the coal coming up right around there, which is going to be out hanging over the edge. This is fine. So I'm going to build some temporary foundations to deal with this situation. There we go. I was running into that. No problem. So for example, if I out of a conveyor lift, that looks good. Let's just stick it out one more. This seems like it is out further than it needs to be. That's very far. Okay. How about here? Yeah, that's healthy. Well, I could work down from the platform. Probably because I've been streaming for nearly 3 hours, and so my brain is melting. That's the short answer. I'll demonstrate. I'll attempt to do what you're talking about, and I think I'm probably close enough that I probably could. Where are we? Oops, over there. Okay. In my mind, the reason why I wasn't doing that is because if you snap, you probably already know this, but for general consumption, what I'm talking about, if you snap, like if I put in a conveyor pole here, oops, and then snap an elevator lift, a conveyor lift to this, what you get is a conveyor lift going down, which is not what I want. But you don't have to do it this way. Like, this is what I had in mind. This is why because this would start at the top and go down. That's the wrong direction. So you have to snap from the bottom and go up. But now that I have this platform built, I can do that. Like, this will probably be fine. It's very possible that I'm like misunderstanding how the interface works, but... Oh, you're right. Yeah, okay. So, like, what you're talking about is that in a vacuum, a conveyor pole with no attachments, so Xmotion knows what they're doing, but in case anyone else is cares, yes, with a conveyor belt with no attachments, and you snap a conveyor lift to it and then go down, it is a conveyor lift down. However, I can just do this. Say, no, the conveyor lift is going to go in this direction. And now with the other end connected, the conveyor lift will know what to do, and so it'll just, like, do it. So I don't need to be below, I need to be at about the level of there. Thanks for hosting me, Raiden69, I guess. Oops. This is also, I'm also gonna die. That's fun. Wow, I didn't die. Okay. So the other hazard of doing the construction from up there is, in case I fall off, which I guess the solution would be to build out a temporary platform that I could see better from. This is all fine. And okay, so now that we've done this, I think we can reclaim. Let's go ahead and get this hooked up, and then we can reclaim the foundations. There. Okay. Fantastic. So let's get things close to in place here, and then, as previously demonstrated, try to hook things up from up there, which means I need to get power over to the iron mines, which I think I can pull power off of the limestone mines. Like this. Yeah. This is relatively trivial. Okay. Okay, like that conveyor lift is not going to be high enough, so I'm going to have to snap on another one there, but that's not a big deal. I'm going to get the iron split and closer here. So let's put a splitter. It's just... Actually, we can... How tall can we make it? Let's have a floating splitter here. Okay. This is allowed. And let's do approximately the same things we just did for coal. So take this over most of the way. Is this too long? No, we're good. Okay. And then, am I gonna need to... I think what I'll do is, for iron on this side, I'm gonna make a slightly taller iron attachment here. And then, zip, like that. Okay. The other question is, will I run out of reinforced or encased industrial beam? I may. I think I probably have enough. It's going to be close, but that's okay. So we'll be over here. The other thing I have not done yet is powered up this thing, but that will be relatively simple. Okay, so step one, let's build out a little bit of foundation here so I can see what I'm doing. And then it's a little bit crude, but it's gonna be fine. And then the iron is down there. And we want this to be, I mean, we want to be very cute. We can line it up like this. And then this probably actually won't fit. Nope, nope, we're good. Oh, there it goes. Now, can I just hook this up directly? There we go. Okay. And now we have that side done, we can take down these foundations. We should have... Yep, so we have iron and coal being supplied over here. Now we just need to hook up the iron on this side, which this will require probably a longer foundation to see what I'm doing, because I definitely flubbed it last time. Okay. So again, we can stick a stacking pole here. And drop a conveyor lift here and turn it around. This is a little bit hard to eyeball because, well, let's see, it shouldn't need to be much higher or lower than the coal one. That should probably work. There we go. Okay. Wow, look at that frame rate. Okay. So now we have iron and coal being fed into the foundries. We just need electricity. So where's our electricity going to come from? I think I'm going to pull it over from the concrete. Ooh, boy. This might hurt. That's okay. The hazards of ground level are having conveyor belts run close to the level of the foundations is that sometimes that happens. Alright, let's grab power from, not conveyor belts, there, and I don't want it right on the corner, but I think I can have it like here. And I'm gonna run it across this pedal here to there, and then we can walk over here and run power over to here-ish. Okay. And now we have a lot of power pole redundancy, but that is by design. Do I want the power poles on the inside or the outside? Let's put one. Can I fit them on the inside? I can. See what? Okay, there we go. Ah, power poles on top of the splitters, you say. But what if I want to stack splitters on top of splitters later? I'll think about whether I want to convert to that method. I'm going to stick with it like this for now. I already have a hard time walking between foundries, so... Okay, yeah, this is fine. Yeah, power poles on top of splitters is a commitment, because I'm guessing you presumably cannot, like... Yeah, you can't put a splitter in a place where there's already a pole sitting. I kind of want to leave these splitters open for possible splitter stacking. Which, if I get to that point with like Mark V conveyor belts where I need to stack splitters on top of each other, then that'll be quite a lot of coal that I'm making. Oh, I'm out of cables. Let's go get more cable. That's fine. We're almost done here. One of these boxes has cables in it. There we go. Eventually I will do something about the fact that I have to walk back to the central pillar structure just to climb up. I think probably what I'll do is build ladders or possibly just jump pads on the secondary pedals. Or up to the secondary pedals, we'll see. I actually don't know intuitively how high jump pads get you. By which I mean I don't know if one jump pad is going to be enough to go from down there up to up here. And of course, do I know about control dragging? No. Go ahead and tell me about control dragging, Xmosh. Oh wait, this is the concrete facility. I'm totally the wrong place. Five or six 4-meter foundations. Oh, you mean like, that didn't do quite what I wanted. You'll have to explain the input a little bit better, in a little more detail. Like hold left control to snap to guideline, but that doesn't mean anything in this context. Unless you mean building foundations that are like. Anyway. Maybe you'll explain what you're talking about. Oh, holding control. Oh, so in inventory management, I see. I figured there probably were some inventory management tricks that I wasn't using properly. So thanks for letting me know. I'm kind of used to the Factorio interface, which. Okay. Oh, okay. The jump pads throw you 5 or 6 4-meter foundations, and then inventory management is a different question. Okay. Right. So, yeah, we're about done. But for jump pad research, if I stand here and that's about the height. So one, let that one get built so I have a decent visual. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So even a jump pad is not going to get me from the ground up to here. That could work in other places, but like over that away, the ground is not quite so low. Like the central pillars are themselves looks like about 8 or 9. So jump pads probably aren't going to do it unless I have a complicated jump pad network, which I don't like jump pads enough to do that probably. So currently the ingots aren't going anywhere. That'll be a job for next time probably. Last thing I'm going to do is go disconnect that. Can I do it from this far? Nope. Okay. Disconnect that power connection from the crashed pad. So let's get a soft landing here from somewhere. Okay. Alright. I'm going to keep most of this power line intact in case I want to use it for sending power out to the quartz or something, but this power pole is definitely not doing anything productive. Well, we'll see what my eventual solution is. Let's, for giggles, just manually walk down this ramp and see if it goes anywhere special. Walks by some crabs, that's not very interesting. So, a lot of crabs. There's a copper nodule, that's not very interesting. A mushroom. Well, okay. So I think it's just a gradual ramp down if you are of an exploring mind. Alright, well that's definitely where we're going to leave off because it's time for me to head out. But thanks everyone for joining. We'll see what we get done next time. Probably more iron, more steel processing because making steel ingots is not a good endpoint. In particular, I want to get encased industrial beam production online so that I can locally produce the materials for making Mark IV conveyor belts. But that's for later, so see you next time.